Benet's Bloody Bits.
Welcome to Triple B. My name is Jason Benet. The late, great David Hess. He's mostly known for one horror film, playing the very ruthless killer in Wes Craven's seminal 1972 classic, Last House on the Left. From that point on, he was the bad guy. He was the mean guy. That was kind of the roles that he got. Films like Hitchhike and Ruggero Deodato's House on the Edge of the Park. But little do most people know that he's a director of one film, the 1980 slasher film, To All a Good Night. So this is long after Black Christmas, but it's before Silent Night, Deadly Night. And for years, I hadn't seen it. It just wasn't available. Now it's on Blu-ray and it's on DVD. But it deals with the Calvin finishing school for girls. Takes place beginning of the movie. There's a girl that's kind of messed with by her friends. Looks like they're kind of maybe a little bit of a hazing and they're chasing after her and she falls to her death. Then we jump to present day. Some girls are getting ready for Christmas. They invite some guys over. And then some murders start happening, and one by one, people get picked off. Not the most creative kills in the world, but there are some good gory ones. Most of the cast is fairly unknown. There's only two names that stuck out to me. One was Jennifer Runyon, and she was at the beginning of Ghostbusters. If you remember the scene with Bill Murray, and he's doing the psychic thing with the cards, and he's having the blonde-haired girl guess them, and she's completely wrong. But because he wants to get in her pants, he says she's correct every time. She's the main lead. She's a good actress. She's someone that you could follow through the story. She's kind of the quiet, shy one. There's the more attractive girls that kind of take off their clothes and have more fun. But this is a straightforward Christmas slasher film. The mystery of who the killer or killers are kind of coincides with another 1980 horror film, Friday the 13th. But Friday the 13th came out first. This came out second. I'm not sure if one copied the other. It's kind of hard to say. It was just kind of in the slasher era that similar plots and things were happening. But I'm always wondering, before I forget, so there's Jennifer Runyon I recognize, and also there's a small part by a former adult film star, Harry Reams, as a pilot. How did he get in the film? He was also in another slasher film that Scream Factory put out on Blu-ray called Demented. Was he trying to go mainstream? Like Ginger Lynn Allen? There's some stories there. And I kind of kicked myself because David Hess was on Facebook for years. I first joined the platform in 2008. I Facebook, friended him, and he was just a DM away from, hey, man, do you want to talk about To All a Good Night? Because I don't know a lot of stories about that film. There's not a lot of retrospectives out there. I've seen him talk about it, perhaps way back in the day. He did something for print, but I never ran across it. And I kind of, I missed out. That's why the interviews are important, because you're kind of holding on to these memories, this information, these facts, and you're cataloging them for reference so people can look at. And I even met David at a Fangoria Weekend of Horrors. He was at a table with Ruggero Deodato. Both men are since passed away. And it's like, no excuses. I understand I got busy with life. I was kind of running around. This was like my killer film days. And I'll get to this retrospective and I'll reach out to David Hess. I'll message him Facebook, and I never did. And there's just so many stories that are missed. Supposedly, on the set of this film, they found out about John Lennon's murder, and they all gathered around the TV to watch that. There's a story there, like, whoa, how did you guys focus? How did you get back to filming when you have this lingering thing? It's just a big deal. A lot of people are fans of the Beatles' music, and here John Lennon, who was still fairly young, gets murdered. And so there's a story there. Why was this the only film you ever directed? Why did you choose a Christmas horror film? Did it get a theatrical release, or was it kind of direct to video? What was the story there? So that's why I'm always kind of reaching out to people, trying to get interviews, talking about movies old and new. You just don't know what stories are there. David was a really sweet guy. From what I understood from his family, he was nothing like the character in his films. He was just a sweet guy. I believe he passed away in his sleep, so I don't know if he had an illness or anything like that. But To All a Good Night is a fun film. Beautiful girls, hot guys, even a nerdy guy who gets with one of the hot girls, which is very uncommon for that staple of slasher films or even teen sex comedies. I try to watch it every year. It sticks with me more. I know a lot of people go to Black Christmas 1974, Silent Night, Deadly Night. I just this one it's a grindhouse film. It just had the music, the look of the cameras. It just kind of is like a comfort movie, a homey feel. It's a easy 80, 90-minute watch. It goes by really quick. I'm sure someday somebody will put it on 4K. I don't think it's needed. I don't want them to clean up the grain too much. I like the authenticity of that era of films, 1980. So I just want to recommend To All a Good Night. Not seen by many, talked about less. I don't think it's a classic by any means, but it's just a fun, cozy Christmas horror film. It doesn't seem to come up like if I jump on social media, it's always the usual suspects. And we kind of know about those films. And I want to champion the smaller films, the underdogs, the underrated films that just don't get enough coverage. And so To All a Good Night. Have you guys seen it? Did you even know it was directed by David Hess and small part by a former adult film star, Harry Reams, who's best known for Deep Throat, Jennifer Runyon from Ghostbusters? I love this film, even though it's not perfect. That's not where my perspective is with films anymore. I don't look for perfection. I look for, am I entertained? And To All a Good Night entertains. This will be put out in front of you before Christmas. I have another retrospective on another film, Krampus, that I want to do. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. February 2025 will be my 1 year as a YouTuber. So that's kind of like a little accomplishment for me. I don't do it for notoriety. I don't do it to be famous. Of course, one day I wouldn't mind making a little bit of money. But for the people who have subscribed, liked, shared, all those good things, thank you guys very much. I'm not going anywhere. YouTube is going to be something I'm going to do for years. So thank you for watching. Stay scared. Have a great Christmas.